Good afternoon, everybody. On this Monday, October 13th, 2025, I got all of your stories for your rush hour ride home. Or maybe you're like me and you didn't realize it was Columbus Day or Indigenous People Day, whatever you celebrate. And I thought it was just a normal work day. So here I am like an idiot working when I should be out, I don't know, getting a pumpkin spice latte and parading around, doing whatever activities you do on Columbus Day. It's a weird holiday, isn't it? Well, we're going to get into the Blake Lively content. Blake Lively versus Baldoni, court documents unsealed. We now know who the person was that crossed Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios. We're hearing from the political pundits what they think, I should say the legal pundits, what they think about if this is a nothing burger and why it won't hold up in court. We've also got Taylor Swift announcing she's releasing a 6-part docuseries about her tour. Who's going to watch that? Me, I will. I love Taylor Swift documentaries. I've watched every single one of them. I think they're so inspiring. But if you're a hater, maybe you won't. Shake it off, folks. Either way, I'll be there. And I'm sure it'll literally just boom the stock of Disney Plus. You know what I mean? Because everything she touches is gold. Well, we've got good news for the hostages that have been released. All of the living hostages have been released from Hamas terror, and I'm going to share some clips of that. And thoughts from Candace Owens, essentially saying, hey, while our government takes a victory lap on this, like, let's watch out for what their motivations are. So I'll share both sides of that. And the beef that happened over the weekend, last night in Kansas City on the field. It's a he said. I'm going to get all sides of that story. So lots to get into today. All this and more starts right now on The Rush. Big first story of the day here in Portland. They are going on a nice bike ride, a naked bike ride, which again, I mean, be careful what kind of bike seat you have. If you're renting a bike, bring some Lysol wipes. The Naked Truth unclothed cyclists swarm streets to protest ICE. My guess is people that like to get naked will get naked for any reason. They're like, come on, we got to get naked. It's Lilac Day. I don't know, whatever. Just finding a reason. But either way, be careful out there. You thought pepper spray stunk when you were wearing a turtleneck. If you're naked, it's a whole nother issue. But no, good for Portland. I mean, listen, is there any more sort of pacifist and harmless way to protest than be stripped down nude? I mean, it's like, look, we're not hiding anything, folks. There's no extra packages here. That's not a gun I'm hiding. That is a small, peaceful protest is what it is. Okay, so we're happy for them. Listen, I don't care what side of the issue people are on, although I think my audience is probably on the side of, keeping American streets safe and also keeping American streets from the sort of terror of masked police. I think that's a fair and popular point of view. But with all of that said, look, First Amendment right, peaceful protest. Regardless of what you're protesting, we need to support and encourage our democracy to continue to voice its opinion. All right, well, here it is. Speaking of democracy, the votes have come in. Taylor Swift is the most famous artist in the world, probably ever. And now she's dropping an Eras Tour docuseries and new concert film. We knew this would come out. This is like the last of all of the promo you're going to get from her, right? They roll out the album. They roll out the watch party, the this, the that. They've got the, Tickle Me Taylor toy. They pull the string and whatever. They got it all. And of course, the 6-part docuseries. I'll share a clip of the trailer. And here it was the announcement on Good Morning America this morning.
And this morning, Taylor Swift is bringing the streaming event of an era to Disney Plus.
And welcome to the Eras Tour.
2 brand new projects, including a behind-the-scenes docuseries chronicling the Eras Tour.
And here's what I'm going to watch. Let's go to the trailer itself. Here, I'm going to be watching the part where she convinces Travis Kelce to, or maybe it was his idea, where they kind of got him dressed up in a suit and a tuxedo, and he was part of the event. Here's the clip.
This tour was just when every single one of us who had done so much work, pushing inch by inch to where we all clicked together. We have broken every single record you can break with this tour.
You know what I like about her? She says we. She's the name, the brand, the biggest pop star in the world, and she says we. I like to read some of the hater community groups online just to see why, how could they possibly could hate somebody? They say, oh, she's bad at dancing. Her voice isn't that good. But I think what they don't give her credit for is that she continues to stay on the top of her game. She's like the Tom Brady of pop music, right? She's defied the odds. Most people, you make a lot of money, you do a lot of drugs, you party, and then you kind of burn out. She's got that itch to continue to create, and she writes, and she, collaborates, and I don't know. I just think, I think because she's a pretty girl who got to start with her parents' help and all of that, that we don't give it the credit that it deserves of what kind of cultural movement it is. I mean, you've got mayors and governors and presidents begging her, perform in my city, perform in my country, knowing that it's going to literally boost their gross domestic product because she brings with her, just an incredible economy when people come to see her perform. So I think it's interesting. Now, what's really interesting is, check this out. Andrew Santino right there on the bottom was spotted last night at the Kansas City game. No, Taylor's not cheating on Travis Kelce with Andrew Santino. He's a comedian. I met him years ago. We did a show together. But I think this is so fascinating that he somehow accidentally got in the Taylor Swift crew. Here he was a month ago on the Pardon My Take podcast when he was asked if he's going to get an invite to the wedding. After what we saw last night, Taylor Swift talking to him in the press box, maybe.
Are you going to the wedding?
I doubt it.
Really? You're not going to Taylor Swift and Killer Trav's wedding?
I highly doubt it, dude. I don't think I got that invite. She's controlling that guest list.
But
I'm not on that list.
You don't think so?
Oh, dude. I'm not on that
Killer
list.
Trav?
Trav's my boy. I love him to death. I highly doubt. Look, I will say this. I played golf with my old man 2 days ago, and we FaceTimed him and to say congrats. And look, maybe I'll catch a bachelor party invite.
Are you going to?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, this is insane. How big is the Taylor Swift ecosystem that anybody who knows Taylor Swift gets asked questions about her on different podcasts, right? You've literally got Travis Kelce's brother's wife on her podcast talking about Travis Kelce, the size of his redwood tree. It's just a wild time. I choose, and again, everyone can do what they want with your attention, vote with your attention. I choose to appreciate this cultural moment, which is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. We never got the royal family. This is it. This is the royal Midwestern family that we have. I just wish Travis Kelce played for a team like the Patriots, you know what I mean? But my Patriots are doing great. Who would have thought? 4-2. Unbelievable. Drake May in the conversation for MVP. All right, let's do this. Let's go right from Taylor Swift into the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni stuff. If you didn't catch my morning episode, lots of unsealed documents have come out. One of which we've got Baldoni's agent claiming that Blake Lively was trying to extort him. And now we've also got this character witness, this other director who claims that Baldoni was verbally abusive. I'm sorry, if you're going to say verbally abusive, I need to know what you're claiming he said, because these are heavy words that were used against Baldoni to smear him when Blake Lively and the cast was unfollowing him. I mean, it's just wild at this moment that we live in, that they all unfollowed him and we still don't have any evidence of him doing anything. This is crazy out there. And I say that because, look, we've all worked with assholes. When you work with an asshole, everybody else has a story about that asshole, right? Real specific stories. And we just don't have that right here. What we have is very loosely sort of, sewn together claims about him. So this is from Little Nomad, a thread on sluicing that led me to track down Claire in under 48 hours. So it was being pieced together by people who the sort of person was that was claiming that they wanted to cancel Baldoni. She was the director, but from a different project. But as we find out, Claire Ayub was a director and just didn't want Justin Baldoni to be a part of her marketing and PR because of the stench that he had about the Blake Lively stuff. So it was almost like his own reputation, which came out from a lot of PR slamming of him. His own reputation was used against him. And I mean, if I'm Justin at this time, I'm like, the hell did I do? I gave you a platform to tell your story. Misrepresentation. There's never a real plan for Justin to be present for the majority of production. He lives in California. The project project was in New York. So yeah, but this is the information that was used against him by accounts that were smearing him. I mean, look at this. Justin Baldoni removed from set for verbal abuse, banned. First of all, he was accused of verbal abuse. He wasn't removed from any set. He was asked not to be a part of their marketing and PR campaign. It's wild that this type of stuff can be written, and this person who wrote this claims that I'm operating in bad faith, or at least has said, like, you think you're doing good, but you're not, like, kind of real, like, smug stuff. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre. I want nothing to do with this type of mischaracterization. What I do want to know is, like, look, if you're going to accuse someone of verbal abuse, keep going. Tell us what they said. Keep going, because we live in a world where, you throw the abuse term on somebody. I think we owe it to ourselves and the people that were accusing of that abuse to know just exactly what the hell they were doing. Not Actually Golden always steals the show with her great commentary. Here's what she has to say about how she came to the conclusion that Claire leaked the audio she recorded illegally of Steve Sarowitz, how she leaked it to Blake Lively.
But the really interesting thing to me, if I can make it bigger, I can't. See where it says in paragraph 6, a true and correct copy of that recording produced in Discovery as BL blah, 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 blah. That is a bait stamp number. And the fact that it says BL something something means it was produced by Blake Lively. So that means it's not that somebody subpoenaed Claire Ayub and got this recording from her. It means that Claire Ayub gave this recording to Blake Lively, and then Blake Lively produced it to everybody else as part of her disclosures. And that leads me to the conclusion, based on process, that Claire Ayub voluntarily, called her up and was like, hey, I've got a recording of Sarowitz. Do you want it? Because otherwise you would have to subpoena her and she would have to turn it over.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. That's a fair conclusion to make if we get in any information that gives us a different, did she upload it to her public Dropbox and Blake Lively found it? No, she sent it to Blake. She snitched. And why? What was going on behind the scenes that led to that? More on Claire. Here we have what they're calling the illegal Mount Rushmore, Not Actually Golden, Little Girl Attorney, BB Well Actually, and Britt talk about character evidence here. Again, the same conversation. Not Actually Golden just does such a great job of explaining why this idea of verbal abuse, even though it might look bad publicly, cannot hold up in court.
Not allowed in American courts because the idea is that whether you committed a crime or committed a civil infraction should not be based on whether everybody thinks you're a really nice person, because good people do bad things and bad people do good things. There are a bunch of different ways that you can try to get around that in criminal trials. BB, you tell me if I'm missing anything, because you as a clerk have actually done criminal cases, which I've never done. The most common one is MO, right? So every time this person, kills a woman, he does it like this, right? Because that's showing a pattern of behavior. But I don't know why we all think that. Maybe it's from TV or movies or something, but it is 99.9% of the time, you cannot bring in evidence to show what a nice person someone is. And if you have evidence that they engaged in behavior that you're like, this is a pattern, it has got to be damn near identical.
Yeah, so what would that pattern be? In my thought would be, well, if Justin was verbally abusive and said certain things to Claire, and he said the same things to Blake, or was coercing them, or using the same, but it's so vague that we don't even know what the claims are. Right? At this point, it's all a big nothing burger. And that's what's so interesting, the fact that it's not interesting, right? We've seen salacious DMs. We've seen people go off the deep end. We've gone, holy cow, that was nuts. None of that exists here. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, I've got this NFL beef. We're going to get down to the bottom of it, who started it. And we've got more talk about Bad Bunny. And then we'll talk about these hostages. All this and more coming next. Today's episode of the Rush Hour podcast is sponsored by Upside. It is a free app that gets you cash back for purchases you're already making at gas stations, restaurants, convenience marts, grocery stores. It's unbelievable. How it works is you just go to the app. It's free. You type in where you live, and it shows you literally all of the thousands of different options, from saving 65 cents per gallon to, look at this, Five Guys, burger and fries, 38% cash back. You just buy the food, the gas with your credit card, then you upload the receipt through the app, and it's money. Cold hard cash straight back to your bank account. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Actual money that you will transfer into your pocket. $1 million in cash back is being earned by users every week. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code RUSHHOUR to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code RUSHHOUR. Now let's get back to the show. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. That's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. So ditch those overpriced wireless plans. All Mint Mobile plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/TRH. That's mintmobile.com/TRH. Upfront payment of $45 required, the equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. A fight broke out after last night's Kansas City Chiefs game. No, they weren't fighting over who gets to go to the Taylor Swift wedding. It was Brian Branch talks about the scuffle. Now, he just punched a guy in the head. He's going to get a hefty fine, probably a suspension for it. But what led up to it? Here's what he had to say.
They were trying to bully me out there. I should have never did it. It was childish.
What happened between the play? What are you referring to?
I got blocked in the back illegally, and it was running the ref. The ref didn't do anything, and just stuff like that. And I could have got hurt off of that, but it's still, I still shouldn't have done that. So
no, and he's right. He shouldn't have done that because it's going to hurt his paycheck, his family, his reputation, his everything. But at the same time, you got to do it on the playing field, but during the game, not afterwards. And of course, everyone sees that big punch here. Here's his coach.
Start with this. I love Brian Branch, but what he did is inexcusable. And it's not going to be accepted here. It's not what we do. It's not what we're about. I apologize to Coach Reed and the Chiefs and and Schuster. That's not okay.
Now, we can walk and chew gum at the same time, right? We can say that's not okay. But how about this? Look at Patrick Mahomes touching him right before that moment.
Branch walking by. Mahomes
So Mahomes goes to give him a handshake. Branch doesn't give it. And, say what you want about it, but look at Mahomes then grabbing Branch's arm.
The hand to him. Branch doesn't respond, doesn't put his hand out.
But then he pats him on the back. But again, he pats him on his shoulder pad, so Branch probably only felt the slap on the arm. Either way, I mean, it just goes to show how fragile these athletic egos are. And, you got to just leave it on the field and get them next time. But, the fact that Kansas City won the game and then you're punching the person in the head. And look, he's trying to slap his hand. But again, tough scenario. So hopefully he learns his lesson. Seems like a nice guy, this Branch, other than this hit. He seems to feel bad. And I feel bad for him because, these tensions, they're hopped up on adrenaline and all of that. But nope, can't do that. Speaking of the NFL, we've got our final story here. More conversation about Bad Bunny, the next Super Bowl halftime performer. Here's John Rocker, off his rocker. This guy's a nut. Former Major League Baseball player. I think he went from being a pitcher to an outfielder. He was on Survivor. He's had his redemption arc, but the guy's an absolute savage with this take. I mean, just a lunatic. Have a listen.
Super Bowl coming up is they're catching some heat because the halftime show is Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican. He doesn't have songs in English for the most part. What do you make of this? To me, this is un-American.
Certainly.
I hate how they ask these questions and then lead with the answer. What do you make of this? To me, I think this is un-American. It's like, okay, clearly you guys aren't having a nuanced conversation. You're upset about nothing.
Not gelling with the vibe of what the NFL is, a manly game, a gladiator type sport. I mean, what's next? This guy going to sing the national anthem at a UFC event?
What's not manly about Bad Bunny? The guy's he's a slayer out there. Like, manliness can look different to different people, but he's one of the most famous singers in the world. They just have this opinion about them because they're not cultured enough to know anything that's not, outside of their small bubble.
A cross-dressing transvestite, for all, lack of a better word, before the halftime show, is the first words out of your mouth are like, what?
Totally.
Where's the fucking punchline here? You could have picked somebody better. I mean, literally, I don't follow ridiculous stuff like that, mainly because I'm a grown ass man. I don't listen to anyone named Bad Bunny. I feel stupid in saying that. What's his real name? I mean, Jose Sanchez.
All right, so I'm laughing at him for a different reason than she is. How do these people take themselves seriously when they discuss this? Now, John Rocker is a bigot. I mean, maybe he's a racist, but he's for sure a bigot. This is kind of what was, he was canceled before cancel culture even existed. In 1999, during a Sports Illustrated interview, he made numerous bigoted remarks about the New York City subway, specifically the number 7 train that goes to Shea Stadium. He described riding the train as depressing, comparing it to riding through Beirut. And I tell you what, more people would be kinder and less bigoted if they rode the subway more. That's the melting pot where you get to literally see people of all shapes and sizes, different languages, skin colors, all coming together for a common cause, to get to work, to just, go out for a night of drinking with friends or whatever the hell you're doing. The subway is the artery of the most inclusive, most diverse city in the world. He said, imagine having to take the 7 train to the ballpark, targeting specific groups. He added that it was depressing to be next to some kid with purple hair, next to some queer with AIDS, right next to some dude who just got out of jail for the 4th time, right next to some 20-year-old mom with 4 kids. He stated he's not a very big fan of foreigners, complained about walking through Times Square without hearing English. I mean, what a hateful person this is. And it's like, all he's known for is he could throw a baseball really fast. But he was literally off his rocker, which I believe the term existed before John Rocker made it even more solidified. He was off his rocker. Maybe it's the steroids. I have no idea what led to maybe lead poisoning. Who knows? But how ridiculous. The comments caused a massive national controversy. Major League Baseball suspended John Rocker and fined him $20,000. The punishment was later reduced on appeal. The backlash forced him to undergo sensitivity training and led to heightened security during his games in New York. My guess is if he said that as a player now, he'd be rewarded. So this whole idea like that the country's become so woke, it's just not true. Back 26 years ago, people were like, nah, come on, let's just be a little bit more kind. And I think people still want to be more kind, and yet because we've niched down on different media platforms, he's being rewarded on certain places that want to, talk about how offensive this upcoming halftime show is. Leave it to folks like that to get so offended about a show that hasn't even happened yet. All right, coming up next, we have good news to get to, that being the hostages being released in the Middle East. That coming right after this.